Greetings, everyone. Welcome to my sketchbook. This morning, I'm going to draw something kind of from my childhood, I guess. I'm actually, if you can see here, this is the second last page in my current sketchbook here, the one that I started back March 25th. So that's sort of exciting. Let's see. I'll put in this sheet in behind this page. So yeah, I'm going to draw something that I haven't really drawn since childhood, but I've probably done versions of it. To do this, I'm going to use these two markers to start. So I'm going to start with yellow. Now, when I was a kid, it was super fun to draw the sun. And let's zoom in on this just for fun. Let's go to this distance. Now, I'm not sure why, but it was always fun to draw sunglasses on the sun too, but we'll see what happens here in a moment. Oh, look at that. I got something on my finger. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see that very well. I have an eye and then another eye. So people work different times of day, of course. And when that happens, well, you sort of get your internal clock messed up a little bit. So what could be anyone else's morning is kind of like your good night. I haven't worked a night shift in a very, very long time. Now, let's see here. I gotta widen out this face a little bit, and then we'll round it out a little bit too. We'll do some of the waves as hair. So nothing too complicated. And as I said, you may not be able to see that as well, depending on the device you're watching this on. I'm just going back over that again. I will add some center strands in there. Now, I don't know if I'm going to bother with sunglasses. I don't know why that was funny to me as a kid. Because, you know, the sun produces their own light, so whatever this star is up to. All right, so that's it for the yellow for a moment. And then we can get back in there and we can move some stuff around after. But I'm going to use a little bit of orange in here. Get some pupils going. Get the iris kind of worked in there too. And I may kind of skip back and forth with using the yellow again. I think it's funny, our relationship to to the sun. Now, it's quite possible that for the longest time, people were under the impression that the sun rose and then the sun set. Now, we're told, of course, that we live on a globe. So we move around, or we spin, and that's what gives that appearance. There was a time, of course, as I said, the sun would rise, the sun would set. That's an interesting thing. We were under the impression, of course, that we were the true center of creation. I think that's pretty neat in a weird way. Space exploration was not really something that, people were doing. Not that long ago, honestly, within the last, since the Second World War, have we been trying to put rockets into space with people on it. The oceans are still something that haven't really fully been explored. This is a pretty frantic looking face. It's zany. It's funny what detail does to a little doodle. Let's go with some eyelashes. That seems like fun. And a couple down here too. Yeah, that's funny. The idea of exploring is kind of neat. If you were so lucky, you could get funding from whoever the ruler was at the time to go see if you could find other lands. And sometimes this was all about picking up on, let's say some really neat things like gold or delicious spices or, things like that. So stuff that you don't necessarily have in the lands that you're from. So I guess you would get on a boat, because going by land, that's no fun. Boat was the way. And there was a thing about making maps that they were really good at. Cartography. And how neat was that? That you could get, almost like two sticks of sorts, and then relative to looking at the sky and the things in the sky that don't really move that much, like certain stars. And you would navigate based on that. Because after a while, you wouldn't see land masses anymore in the oceans. You'd mark things down and you'd say, this is kind of the distance that I've gone. This is anyway, how cool, how awesome. The sun, for the most part, is a constant thing. You know where it appears in the sky in the morning, and you know where it sets at night. So depending on, the weather and if it's overcast or those things anyway are typical, recurring things. And I think that is extraordinary. But why we want to leave this planet, I do not know. Adventure, I suppose. Okay, so that is the sun that I've drawn, looking looking really chipper. This is a morning time sun, I would think. I'm going to just add a little bit more to the gum line. Ooh, that's a zany face. It doesn't have to be too dark. We'll have a couple of stray rays of fire. As a kid, I would have drawn the sun or painted the sun, and I would have used like a black crayon or a marker to put in the details. Everything I did, and even now as an adult, I think about putting in details after the fact, which is funny to do that because even though I didn't use coloring books as a kid, I kind of liked the idea that things were outlined. But I'm not going to do that in this case. I'm going to just go back in and add little hints of yellow. Again, because I really just drew yellow outline to start. And these are just going to be details that really only I will see, although it's possible that some of you will see this as well. And I'm done. I do believe. So if you see this early enough, well, although it's not really super early right now, I hope you have a great day. And of course, as always, thanks for hanging out. Thank you for subscribing and sharing and making a comment. And yeah, let me know what you think of this and if you put sunglasses on your son. All right. Have a wonderful day. Yeah. Ciao for now.